a theory. We're going to be talking about what a theory means, different definitions. We're going to be considering as well different definitions from different scholars as we expand on the said term. It has been said. Let's go straight into it. Okay, so we have MAC212, and we are taking it from said term, a theory. Okay, now okay, I believe we all can hear me. So we have it. When we say theory, what are we talking about? Now, a theory is said to be a way. Let's do it to let me know if we all can hear me. Okay, awesome, awesome. A theory is said to be a way of explaining, okay, a way of explaining the ordering and occurrence of different events in the society. A way of explaining, okay, the ordering and occurrence of different events. Okay, now when we say a way of explaining, okay, the ordering and occurrences, okay, a way of channeling the happenings, the order of a particular occurrence, okay, the particular occurrence or manner of happening of an event in the society, then we are referring to what we call theory. Okay, now let's take a step further. Now, McLean, McLean said something about Seta. Now, according to him, in 1972, theory is our understanding of the ways in which things work. All right, our understanding. In the year 1970, 1972, he said the way, okay, it is our understanding. It only takes an understanding to comprehend an event. It only takes an understanding to explain the order of an occurrence. Okay, so according to him now, he said the only reason why we can give an explanation to the ordering of an occurrence, all right, of different events in the society is by the use of what we call theory. Now let's continue. We have the curve of a theory. All right. To mention but a few, we have the intellectual rigor. Okay, where we talk about theories are always step behind reality. Okay, now when we talk about to ensure that theories are testable, verifiable, and systematic, all right, they usually involve much intellectual rigor. Definitely, before you call something a theory, it goes through a lot of scrutiny. I think in one of our classes we had, I think we were talking about a bill is being passed into law, it goes through a lot of processes. Or you want to talk about before a budget is being approved, a lot of reading, a lot of scrutiny, a lot of checking back and forth. The same thing goes with theory. All right, before a statement, before an explanation can make it to being a theory, to being a standard, to be being a yardstick, it goes through a lot of what we call intellectual rigor, a lot of intellects, a lot of professionals, a lot of individuals who are specialized in certain field has to scrutinize this and go through it before it will generally become acceptable as a theory. All right. So one of the characteristics of a theory is that it goes through what we call intellectual rigor. We also have what we call dynamism. Theories are subject to change in the light of new facts, so they are dynamic and not static. One thing you need to understand about theories is that theories are not static. Okay, adjustments, amendments, redress, all right, are made to theories. Definitely, as we all know, that one thing is constant with human and it is change. All right, human beings change. Okay, and theories therefore also change as a society or certain significant changes happen in the society. So, one thing I want to talk about the characteristics of theory is also called dynamism. Okay, talks about how theory is not static. Okay, so we have that as that. Now let's talk about okay. I think we are live now. That's the thing from the network. Theory dates back to the 16th century. Now, the theory describes a situation in which the mass media are subordinate to state power, in the sense that if the state does not give the go ahead, the mass media are or the mass media become limited. Okay, the functionality, all right, the capacity, all right, the ability to deliver of the mass media is dependent on what the state decides. To what we call state power. era is traced back to the 16th century. That's why it is tagged the authoritarian media theory. All right, this is a theory that is dated back to the 16th century, where the capacity and the functionality of the mass media is dependent on the power of the state. Okay, view in view of this, there is this other theory which speaks, right? It says that the press, okay, should be free to publish. Okay, now this is the that's accords. E is called the libertarian theory. The libertarian theory. Okay, now this theory is otherwise known as the free press theory, otherwise known as the free press theory. And this theory believes that an individual should be free without limitation. An individual should be free to publish what he or she likes to hold and express opinion freely. All right, like it says here, all right, theory, otherwise known as the press theory, be the freedom theory. Okay, let's take note of that. Um, that as that. Now, what we need to understand here is that the mass media goes a long way in the all right, in the revolutioning of a society. Therefore, it should not be limited. All right, it should have its full capacity functioning. Now, let's take a step. It says here, mass media, the mass media is said to be a byproduct of the society. All right. And this said that the society is seen as a network of social interaction. You know, when we say byproduct, we're simply talking about um, a produce from the main body of a particular product itself. Let's say this is A. We can have A element, all right, A element as a byproduct of A. Or we can say A, okay, raised to the power of zero as a byproduct of A. So now, A element here comes out from A itself. All right, this is what the analysis we are giving on the mass media and the society, calling this the mass media as a byproduct of the society. And when we say society, we are simply talking about the network of social interaction. All right, society, okay, so network of social interaction. Then we have the society. Don't forget that we only have this word here because a group of people does what? Communicates, interacts, all right, with each other. Then we call them a society. Therefore, mass media, okay, is a byproduct of the society. Now, talking about mass media being a byproduct of the society, mass media is particular about, don't forget, if there was never a society, there would be no mass media. Okay, if there was never a society, then we don't have the mass media. The mass media is out there because there's a society, and it is to aid their interaction, to aid their relationship through carrying off messages, reaching out messages, okay, in line with the society through almost the four corners of the society. Therefore, we refer to it as the byproduct of a society. Okay, so we have that as that. So very quickly about the what the mass media looks like during the colonial era. Now, this era marked the introduction of press. Okay, the colonial era marked the introduction of press in Africa by the missionaries. Okay, the colonial era marked the okay introduction of the press. Okay, colonial era, it marks the introduction of the press. Introduction of press in Africa. In Africa. And this was done, all right, it was actually made possible by the missionaries. Okay, made possible by the missionaries. Now, it says that newspapers were precisely established in Africa by missionaries for the purpose of spreading the gospel. All right, some of us might be asking, what was it like when newspaper was introduced? What is actually the genesis of newspaper? Now, we're being told that newspaper, the reason why we have newspaper, original reason for newspaper, all right, the foundational purpose of having newspaper here in Africa is to what? Is to spread the gospel among some people. All right, introduced by the missionaries for the purpose of spreading the gospel among the people. Now, Nigerian press was born and nurtured in the waters of colonialism. All right, so we have a Nigerian press was okay born and nurtured, born and nurtured. Okay, Nigerian press was born and nurtured in the waters of colonialism. Okay, in the waters of colonialism. This simply tells us that the Nigerian press that we know of today, all right, was made possible by the effect by the effect of the colonialism. Now, the Nigerian press, according to Daramola in the year 2006, all right, had its debut in Rev. Henry Townsend's newspaper, which we refer to as Ìwé Ìròyìn fún àwọn èdè, all right, fún àwọn Ẹ̀gbá àti Yorùbá, which began public. Now, what we are saying here is that the Nigerian press, according to Daramola here is telling us that Nigerian press, all right, came into the limelight, became popular, all right, came into the limelight by the work of Reverend Henry, all right, Townsend. Okay, so we have Nigerian press, according to Daramola in 2007, I beg your pardon, in 2006, said that Nigerian press, let's put it this way, Daramola in 2006 said that Nigerian press had its debut, all right, like being brought into the limelight in Rev. Henry Townsend newspaper. Reverend Henry, that's town sense, town then sense newspaper. Okay, Townsend newspaper. All right, which began publication in 1859. 1859. Okay, the publication of this Reverend Henry Townsend newspaper, which is known as the Iwe Iroyin, all right, the publication in 1859 made Nigerian press came into the limelight. All right, somebody just smashed the like button. Thank you very much for that. Good evening, Miss Chinaza Florence. Trust you are good, very punctual. It's good to have you aboard. Now, let's continue. Now we've talked about the colonial era. So the we also have there before. When we say pre, we are simply talking about before. When you say pre, we are simply talking about before. So now we also have before the colonial era. What was Nigerian press? What was it like? Now the pre-colonial, I beg your pardon, the pre-independent, not colonial, the pre-independence. All right, the pre-independence era. I think I'm losing my marker. Now, the pre-independent era, this period featured the growth of political awareness by Africa as a demand for independence and self-governance. Before this colonial era, it was more of the missionary stuff, all right, more of missionary books and the works of Rev. Henry Townsend. But during this pre-independence, before independence era, it was majorly, all right, Nigerian newspaper or Nigerian press, all right, was majorly known for the facilitation, okay, for the spreading of information and awareness about what we call political awareness. This period featured the growth of what? Political awareness. Political awareness. Okay, feature the growth of political awareness. All right, that is just it in a nutshell. Then during the post-independent era, during this period, communication and media research received a tremendous improvement. All right, so now we have the post after independent. That's what I mean by post-independent. All right, so we have tremendous change. Okay, so we have or improvement in the training of professionals and communication. All right, this era actually experienced what we call tremendous improvement, and we have recent. Then recent, we are simply talking about, all right, the press at this era performs well in terms of improvement in the training of professionals and communication research. So we have training and communication research. So we have that as that basically. So now let's take a step further. Now let's take these abbreviations. Okay, let's take these abbreviations. It says ITV, all right, ITV, that is the independent, okay, television, television. So we also have SW, which is short SW, all right, short, shortwave, SW, shortwave. Then we have FM, all right. FM is an abbreviation for frequency modulation. Frequency modulation. Like I said earlier, we are going to finish this course this week, and by next week, by the grace of God, we're going to take some other course. Okay, so we have that as that. Now let's take a step further. Now it says here that there is nothing like absolute press freedom anywhere in the world. Please note, everything we do here, all right, the content that comes out, the content this channel produces is basically for educational and informational purpose. It's not to instigate violence or what have you. Now, please note that according to the material, it says here that there is nothing like absolute press freedom anywhere in the world. And this is as a result of some certain reasons. Among these reasons are, all right, the limitations. We have the constitution, the legislature, the court, and the government. So it depends on which is which for that particular country, all right? But when we say to absolute press freedom, it doesn't exist anywhere in the world. And we keep talking about journalists performing their functions. We keep talking about the press performing its function without any limitation. Okay, so one of the ways of ensuring that journalists perform their social responsibility function effectively is through what strict adherence to ethical standards of their profession. All right, ethical standard. Now, the press council ensure that journalists operate within the professional dictates. All right, that is the responsibility of which council? The press council. All right, the press council ensures that journalists within the professional dictate as it monitors and regulates practice of journalism profession. All right, that is the responsibility of the press council. So we have the press council. Take note of that. Please, if you're on the stream and are yet to smash the like button, you like to use the comment section to say hello, hi, to us that now. And for those of us you that don't know about a private class, where we do the major thing. What we do here, we restrict a lot of things to the private class. All right. Basically, you need to be in a private classes where you get everything, access to all the resources, and awesome packages just to ensure you are all set for your exams. Do well to reach out to us today on our official website, which is www.com. You get access to that private class. Now we have that as that. Okay, so now I think we are going to call it right here for today, and in our next class we'll be taking it up for some other things. So we are going to talk more about the press council, right, in our next class, and with two more classes, we wrap on this course. Okay, so our next class will be taking up from the press council. All right, so I'm just going to give us an assignment very quickly about something to do. Now, assignment: how does The press, council, regulate journalists, all right, in Nigeria, explain in details. So we have that as that. Thank you very much, everyone. I believe you'll be able to gain something into this. All right. So do all to um, get your notes updated and send it to the appropriate quarters. You have a wonderful evening, and I look forward to all subsequent tutorials. Bye for now.